First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank the boys and girls at the Peabody High School track team. Long distance, is that it? Am I saying it right? Probably not. Cross country track team for all their assistance, because without them we couldn't put all this together. Plus our lovely mayor, where is he hiding? Okay, right behind me. And of course, I think everybody knows Representative Tommy Walsh, longtime Peabody. Senator Joan Lovely, who was on the drug committee at the State House, so we'll hopefully have some words of encouragement for us. We wanted to make this more of, as the sign says, a beacon of hope, showing people that you can recover, there is a way, nobody has to end up as a picture on the board. The least amount of pictures on that board, the better. So what I want to do is start this off with Mr. Mayor. You first, please. Without you, this wouldn't be possible.
Sure, thank you so much.
Get my cane out of the way.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Mayor Ted Betancourt, and I'm really humbled to be here with all of you this evening. It's a cold day, certainly, but I think all of us feel a lot of warmth by everybody being here today in support of the families and in support of our community. I did want to recognize our Sheriff, Kevin Coppinger, who's here today as well. Thank you, Sheriff, for being here. And also Andrew Arnodis, school committee member here in the city of Peabody, and Ryan Melville from our city council. I've always just feel so humbled to be with all of you. I'm always at a loss for words in many regards, but I'm always so inspired by the strength, the compassion, and the caring people that I meet, and the families and the stories that they share, the strength that it takes to talk about those stories. And it means so much to have this event here, to have the support for Claire and for Janice, two incredibly strong women that I've learned so much about. And to have our students here, some of our teachers and coaches. Really, this is something that touches so many in our city of Peabody, but I know so many across our region and our country. And to host this here in Peabody, I think, is very special. And again, I want to thank you for your strength, your compassion, and your caring spirit. And together, we are going to continue to fight and do what we can. And I pledge as mayor, as I know all of the elected officials will do, is to do what we can to support all the families and all of you. So thank you for being here. And again, thank you, Claire, for organizing this. And you really are an amazing woman. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if anybody knows, but we have some bags that you can write your loved one that you lost or that's in crisis, their name on the bag. We'll put a luminaire stick in it and we'll place it over there as a memory for you. And I think my next speaker is going to be Representative Tommy Walsh.
Thanks, Claire.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out on this cold evening. As I said to Clint a couple minutes ago, it's very hard to say no to Claire when she asks availability for this event. And basically we said, whenever you have it, we'll be here. You know, I couldn't help but think, coming over this evening, you know, the efforts that we made, the first vote that I took in the legislature when I was elected in March of 2016 was the omnibus opioid bill. You know, which makes me proud because we, as Senator Lovely can tell you, and the governor talks often about, we are an example for the rest of the nation in the efforts that we're making towards recovery and towards efforts not to have the addiction start anyway. But as we all know, everybody here has been touched so personally by the opioid crisis. It's a long battle. And it's something that we'll be working on for years ahead, unfortunately. And I couldn't help but think, you know, in 2017 we lost almost 2,000 individuals to the opioid epidemic. And really, when you think about it, since we were last here a year ago, you think almost as many families have been touched and impacted by such an insidious disease. So it is my hope, and I'm sure I'm speaking for all my colleagues behind me, that we continue this effort and that we work towards a solution. It's not going to be easy, and especially for all of you who have lived it, your willingness to come out and just show the rest of the community and the region that this is a fight worth fighting, and every individual we save is really worth it. So keep up the good fight. I'm here for you. And as we move forward, please, anytime, reach out to my office. If I can be of help, I certainly will. And thank you for having me tonight. Thanks, Claire.
Thanks, Tom. You know it. I call, you come.
That's right.
Happens every time. I'm so blessed. We also have here is we have the Essex County Sheriff Coppinger, who's going to say a couple of words about how they're handling the situation in Middleton and beyond.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you. Like the mayor and like Representative Walsh, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out here this evening. This is very, very important for all of us. I think we all know that this is not a disease that's limited to just a certain few. This has no boundaries. This does not discriminate against anyone. You know, addiction today is widespread, and it's affecting so many people. And unfortunately, we have lost a lot of those people, and that's something that we need to continue to fight, as the previous speakers mentioned. Now, as we move forward, I'm always looking for some positive in something here. So I got to say this: when you have events like this, the stigma of the addiction that was so relevant many, many years ago, so prevalent, excuse me, many, many years ago, at least I think has diminished. You know, no longer is this a second class. These are good people, working people who become addicted, and so we need to do everything we can collectively to address this. And as Claire mentioned, you know, in Middleton, we have on an average about 1,500 inmates on a daily basis. Roughly about 2/3 of those inmates have some type of substance abuse disorder, whether it's, you know, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, in addition to mental health. And we've got a lot going on. Now, Representative Walsh just said Massachusetts is one of the leaders, and I got to say this for the correctional facilities amongst the sheriffs across Massachusetts, we are some of the leaders across the United States. With the support of the legislature, you know, this past summer, and the governor, you know, they passed the crime bill, the opioid bill, where now we're going to establish a pilot program here in Massachusetts, so we take full advantage of medically assisted treatments. And that's something that's very rare across the country. In Middleton today, we do a Vivitrol program, which a lot of you realize that, you know, just upon release, we give them the Vivitrol shot, which, if taken correctly and followed up, it gives them 30 days of not having that desire for the drug. We also have a very impressive detox program up at the jail that has been nationally recognized. We've been to Washington to present this as an example for other correctional institutions across the country. It's a 28-day program for both men and women, 42 beds in each unit. It's not easy, but as we know, to beat addiction, you have to be committed, and sometimes you have to have bad days to get good days. So we're very, very proud of that. And the second part of what we do now is the reentry program. We need folks like you to work with us across Essex County, across Massachusetts, and even broader across the country. When the inmates leave us, we tell them tongue-in-cheek, thanks for staying, we don't want to see you again. Stay in your communities, go back to become a productive member of society. So we're really pushing the connection with the local social service agencies, healthcare agencies, municipal government, law enforcement, no matter who, anybody we can get to come to the table to work with us to provide resources for the folks leaving the jail, so again, they can come back reunited with their families, go back and get a job and become a productive member of society, as I said. So I can stand up here for about 2 hours, but I know it's a little chilly, and the Red Sox are on later, and go Red Sox, but folks, keep this in the public eye. Do not forget the ones we've lost. Do not forget the ones we're helping, and don't forget there's going to be more that we need to reach out to. So thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sheriff. The next person that's going to speak is Senator Joan Lovely. She is on the Drug Committee at the State House, and hopefully she'll be able to give us a lot of good news, good stuff coming.
Thank you, Claire. Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to everyone here who has lost a loved one, who has a loved one who's battling addiction, who has a loved one who's beat addiction, and for being here tonight to be here together to support each other going forward as we continue this fight against this opioid crisis. I want to say a special thank you to the first responders who are here as well, who every day go out and save lives. When they get a call from someone who is in the middle of an overdose and they go and they save a life. So thank you to the first responders for everything that you do every day. We have worked very, very hard in the State House to be able to combat opioid addiction, from providing additional beds when someone needs a bed and treatment to prevention. We're now talking to kids in 5th and 4th grade about the dangers of opioids, of alcohol, whatever the substance use might be that someone is going to get involved with. You know, when you're raising your kids, or when you are a child, or when you're a teenager, it's unintended. No one says that they want to become addicted to drugs. They just don't. It's an unintended consequence. So we have made big strides with being able to reduce opioids that are available by prescription. We want to make sure, especially for our youth, that if you need medication, say after your wisdom teeth are taken out, that you're getting a smaller prescription just for what you need, and that the rest of that prescription can't be diverted, or you may take it, it feels pretty good, you're going to take some more, and then that prescription runs out, and that's where it spirals down, as we all know. I do want to tell you, and I want to encourage everyone here, if you don't have a prescription, you don't even need a prescription, but if you don't carry Narcan, you should. And here's my Narcan. I carry it right here. I actually saw a gentleman collapse in Market Basket a couple of years ago. It was a drug overdose. First responders were there. Seemed like seconds. They revived him. They took him in the ambulance. After that, I was trained to administer Narcan. I went to CVS, and I said, "Can I get some Narcan?" "Yes, you can." And I walked out with Narcan. I carry this with me everywhere now, because I don't know the next time I might see someone who, again, is addicted. They're using heroin, which right now we know there's very little heroin on the streets. It's mostly fentanyl now, 100 times more powerful than heroin. And so a lot of people who are addicted think they maybe have putting heroin into their body, and it's really fentanyl, and that's why we're seeing these overdoses spike. So if you don't carry it, it's easy to get. The sheriff brought up stigma. We are fighting stigma. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I don't know if I could have walked into CVS and asked for Narcan because of the stigma. Maybe they would have thought that I needed it for me or for a loved one. I want it for everybody, whether it's a loved one, whether it's a stranger, I don't care who it is. If I see someone collapse from a drug overdose, now I know what to do. Go out and get trained. It's very easy to get trained. Learn to Cope does it every Thursday night right over at Salem Hospital. They will give out Narcan. Carry it with you. You can save a life. So we will continue to fight this opioid crisis. Please know that we are shouldering with all of you as we continue. We're working very closely with the Baker administration, who's been a leader on this. We will continue to work with all of you, work with our sheriff, with our district attorney, with all of our leaders, with our mayors, our city councils, our school committees, our educators, and especially the youth that are here. Thank you for being here, and please know we're here for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Okay, the mayor was just going to make a couple more points. that I would like him to talk about that we're doing here in Peabody that not everybody may know about, but would be a good idea to know about it? Please.
Thank you, Claire. I did want to mention a program that we have here in the city of Peabody that has just been a tremendous asset for our community and for our students. And I know many of the students that are here today were a part of it, as well as the Healthy Peabody Collaborative. Sandy Drover is here today. She works for the Healthy Peabody Collaborative. It works out of our police station, and it's a program that works with our students, high school and middle school, to be above the influence and to take these important lessons that we've learned and be a part of the community and share with one another the importance of living good, healthy lives and going to parents and families and police officers and all those that care deeply for each other. And it's really a wonderful community here in the city of Peabody. I wanted to thank Sandy, all the teachers and our public safety officials who are here today for the work that they do. And again, I want to thank all of you for sharing your stories with us. And again, I'm so grateful to be here and humbled to be here with all of you.
Thank you. Oh, no, that was perfect. Okay. I know it's getting late and it's getting cold, so the next part of our program here is we have students passing out purple carnations. One of the things that I have learned during my time of grieving is you need to say that person's name. You have to say their name. Say their name. Take that flower, come to the podium, say their name, and put it in the vase. And we're going to hopefully, yes, put it in City Hall. And we'll have it in City Hall for 30 days.
If they were here, and I'm sure they're watching us, that they would be extremely proud of how collected our community is and how much we care, and that we're working hard, collected as a society and a community in the city of Peabody to prevent anything like this happening. And I'm sure everyone here is, and I just want to say that no matter what happens, don't do drugs or anything, and if anything's happening, then just speak up and tell an authority. Thank you.
Great job, honey. Great job. Thank you, hon. I couldn't have said that any better myself. I want to give a special thanks to Evans Flowers for donating the carnations for our ceremony tonight. And I want to thank school committee for coming. Where's Andrew? Oh, thank you. There you go. And Tommy Walsh, Andrew Arnottis, Senator Lovely. You guys always come when I call. It's awesome. Didn't know I had this kind of power. Be careful, it might go to my head. But I want to really thank you for the cross-country track team. You guys are amazing to come here and Bridgewell to bring all the information that people can bring home, and if we could just help one family not have to stand here and hold a candle or put a picture on the board.
Did they want to speak?
That would be amazing. And if anybody else has anything to say, would like to speak, it is open mic. Perfect. Thank you. I'm running out of words.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle. I work for the City of Lynn for Prevention Works, and I want to encourage everybody to take some resources, please. We made these lovely bags. I also want to say, how many people here are in recovery? So that's the shot of hope. The fact that we hear about the overdoses and everything all the time, I also think it's really important to celebrate the people in recovery. So there are people out here in long-term recovery. Sometimes I wish we could walk around with a little banner on so you guys could approach us and ask for help if you need to. But we're out there. So thank you very much, and thank you, Claire.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes, you can.
Also, if there are any people in the crowd that are in recovery and would like to share their journey and maybe help someone else that may be ready to start the journey, you're certainly welcome, but to come up and speak also.
Hi, I'm a PBD boy. My name's Jimmy Billings. The young lady that just came up and spoke, Michelle and I worked together at Bridgewell. We were supposed to have a recovery coach meeting this evening, and we thought it was more important that all the recovery coaches come to this event, and they're scattered throughout here. The big guy over there is actually celebrating his birthday, so to come out in this cold and celebrate. We work as recovery coaches, and what we do as recovery coaches is we meet people where they're at. There's all different ways to recovery. You don't necessarily have to go to AA or NA. There's celebrated recovery, there's smart recovery, there's meditation. A person's in recovery when they say they're in recovery. I don't make any bones about the fact that I had a 30-year career with alcohol. And it took a lot of people to get me to the point that I'm at right now. And I live and breathe trying to help people get back on their feet. I've had the opportunity to speak at the Middleton Jail. Today I met with some people at Salem Hospital. It looks like we're going to start becoming recovery coaches at Salem Hospital on November 19th. If someone told me 13 years ago that I was going to have the opportunity to meet the governor tomorrow, I would have said you're crazy. But because of this recovery situation and the opioid crisis, I have the opportunity to have a few minutes with the governor. And the more support, the more things that run out like this, the more we talk about this crisis, the better off we can be. We can't keep it hidden. It has to be forefront. When the Surgeon General of the United States says that every American should carry Narcan, that's serious. That means we're in a crisis. God bless you all that lost a loved one, and I've had my fair share, so that's enough for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's amazing to see the support and to see family members supporting everybody as we go through this. My Madison is running around here somewhere. She had to go to the bathroom. Oh, of course. She's in the reading room. I don't know what else to call it. Oh, it's awful. This is something that I do. I say for selfish reasons. I do for myself. Coming together like this helps me heal for the loss of my daughter at 34 years of age, that I never would have believed in a million years that this was happening to her. So any parents out there, if somebody ever comes to you and says they think, don't turn them away, listen to them. Open your heart, open your minds, pay attention. If somebody notices that your child may be in crisis, even if you think you know them, you don't. You really don't. Once high school comes, you guys know, it's tough. It's tough to be in high school. You don't know where you fit in. You don't know what group you should belong to, how you should act. And I think that is the most important time for recovery and for help for everybody. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming. Who? Yes, we have another speaker. Awesome. Please. Thank you.
My name's Ariel. I'm a grateful addict in recovery. It's really awkward being on a microphone. I don't do this often, so I don't know how loudly I should talk into the microphone or how close it should be to my face. But wow, it's really nice to be here tonight. I'm really grateful that we have things like this, to be able to reflect on people we've lost and lives we've lost. But there is another side of this, that there is recovery and it is possible. And I think it's really important to talk about the hope as well. I have almost 2 years clean in recovery, and my life is, I don't need a round of applause, you know.
You do.
Oh, thank you.
You do.
My life is second to none. I get to spend most of my days helping other people. I get to work in treatment, and I'm in school for drug and alcohol rehabilitation, and it's such a miracle to be where I'm at. Like, no matter how hard some days are, because this process definitely isn't easy, but it is possible. And, I went through some really hard times, but I'm really grateful for what I've experienced, because I do feel like getting through that point made me a better person and more compassionate and more understanding towards other people. And it's just so amazing that we have the resources we have today and the programs that we have today and the help. And, people are never alone. And I know that through recovery, I've met some of the best people I've ever met in my life. People that will love you unconditionally and help you no matter what. And, sorry, I'm running out of things to say. It's so scary being up here. But, I just wanted to come up here and, share a little bit of hope. That's all I got.
You did it. That's the whole purpose of tonight. This is the beacon of hope. We will remember the ones we lost, but it's the beacon of hope. It's the hope that those that are in the middle of this know that there is hope out there, that you can get clean, you can stay sober, you can live a healthy and happy life. It is possible. We just have to reach out to each other. And everybody that knows me knows how to find me. I'm very easy. I'm always around. If anybody ever needs someone to talk to or to give information to, I'm there. And thank you, everybody, again for coming. Thank you, Karen.
And I have one more comment I'd like to make to the general public. I lost a son to a heroin overdose, and I have a son who's still struggling to put his life back together. He's in a methadone program. But what I'm finding I'd like to share is that they're not always welcome back into the workforce. People with problems are not always welcome into it's easy to get a job. There's a lot of people out there looking for jobs, so if it's possible to help somebody that's done the work to get clean, hire them. Thank you.
What about that one? Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you all again for coming. And let's hope we can have maybe fewer of these and less pictures on the board next year. Thank you. Thank you again, Mayor Bettencourt. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Representative